Something's wrong in the world of auto loans. We're seeing a huge surge in car repossessions, and I'm here to tell you this isn't just about a few people missing their payments. No, this is a deep dive into a systemic problem, a look at the financial machinery that's putting the whole consumer economy on edge. All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the repossession boom itself. Then we'll look at the new repo man. It's not what you think. After that, we'll get into how this whole debt trap is engineered. Then we'll see how the crisis is widening. And finally, we'll put it all together to see how the system is, well, underwater.
Okay, let's get into it. Part 1. The repossessions boom. We need to look past the headlines and get into the raw data.
So check this out. This is probably the most critical piece of the puzzle right here. Car repossessions have hit a 14-year high. Let that sink in. They're actually higher now than they were during the 2009 financial crisis. And we've got stronger consumer protection laws now, which makes this even crazier. It means that for a lot of people, things are even worse now than they were back then. And behind every one of those numbers is a real person, a real family. This quote really hits home. $60,000 worth of car debt. It is draining us. This is the human cost. It's not just a statistic. It's a crushing weight on millions of American families. So why is this happening right now? What's the deal? Well, it's basically a perfect storm. You've got record high auto debt, for one. Then you've got cars losing their value faster than ever before. You put those two together and you get what's called massive negative equity. That's just a fancy way of saying people are completely trapped, owing way more on their car than it's actually worth. All right, moving on to part 2, the new repo man. And yeah, you can forget everything you think you know about this job. We're talking about surveillance, high technology, and even the gig economy. So here's how the operation works. They call it the digital dragnet. You've got regular people, affiliate drivers, who just stick these camera packs on their cars. As they drive around, these cameras are just indiscriminately scanning every license plate they pass, logging the GPS data for each one. All that data gets compiled into a massive, searchable database. Then, when a repo agent needs to find a car, they just pay a fee, log in, and bam, they know exactly where it is. But it gets even creepier. The surveillance doesn't stop with your license plate. These systems are smart enough to grab info from bumper stickers, from yard signs, basically building a profile on you, including your political beliefs. And guess what they do with that info? They sell it. To marketers, to political campaigns. Your car has literally been turned into a spy, and you didn't even know it. Okay, Section 3, engineering the debt trap. We've seen the methods, right? Now let's follow the money and figure out the motive. You really have to see how the auto loan itself has been completely re-engineered. Back in the day, 2004, the standard was a 5-year loan. You'd put some money down and you'd build equity pretty fast. Simple. But now, we're talking 7, 8, even 12-year loans. And down payments? A lot of times, they're gone, replaced by just rolling whatever you still owe on your old car into the new loan. It's a structure designed to make sure you barely chip away at the principal. This chart lays out the trap perfectly. Let's walk through it. Say you want a $50,000 car, but you're 10 grand in the hole on your trade-in. You're underwater. The dealer says, hey, no problem. They just add that 10 grand onto your new loan. So now you're borrowing $60,000 for a car that costs 50. And they stretch it out over 12 years to make the payments affordable. You're literally paying for 2 cars, but you only get to drive one. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. The dealership isn't holding on to your loan. They don't really care if you pay it back. What they do is bundle your loan up with thousands of others and sell it off to investors as a financial product. It's called securitization. This moves all the risk off their books, and it completely changes the game. Their profit comes from creating the loan, not from you successfully paying it off. The incentive isn't for good quality loans anymore. It's just for pure raw volume. So, part 4, the widening crisis. Because this isn't just a subprime problem anymore. Oh no, the cracks are starting to spread. Okay, look at this chart. On the one hand, you have subprime borrowers, people with lower credit scores. And yeah, their late payments are back up to where they were before the pandemic. That's not a huge surprise, right? But here's the real story. Look at the prime borrowers. These are the people with good, even great credit. Their late payments have doubled. That's the part that should scare you. The very foundation of this market is starting to crack. And if you think this is just a problem for the middle class, think again. Get this. 40%, 40, of households earning over $500,000 a year say they're living paycheck to paycheck. It's unbelievable. And when you ask them why, what's one of the biggest reasons for their financial stress? You guessed it, cars. This debt trap is climbing all the way to the top of the income ladder. And that brings us to our final section, a system underwater. It's time to connect all the dots to see the end game. Because as we've seen, this isn't really a cart crisis at all. It's a fault line running right through our financial system.
So let's break it down one last time. This is the whole operation, laid bare. The incentive, it's not about selling cars, it's about originating loans. The longer, the better. The mechanism, these crazy long debt cycles, rolling negative equity over and over. And the fuel for the fire, securitization, packaging up all this debt and selling it. The critical vulnerability now is that this crisis isn't just for subprime borrowers anymore, it's hitting everyone.
So that leaves us with one final pivotal question. In this whole scheme, the car is just the bait. It's the collateral. The real product being sold here is the debt itself. The system is the asset. And that makes you wonder, right? What happens when an entire system built on something so fragile